So loud that the devotees in Avataridesh and Śrīmad should be able to hear you. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Avataridesh Yatra ki Nitai Gaurav Premanande Nitai Gaurav Premanande Nitai Gaurav Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have His Grace Arjun Sakha Prabhu with us today. Actually, I think after this storming kirtan, it doesn't need an introduction. It was a very enlivening kirtan and lots of energy was pouring out of it. But still, for my purification and just for our brief understanding, I would like to introduce Prabhu very quickly. Prabhu has done his Master's in Information System from New Jersey. He is settled in Seattle and working there. He is preaching to lots of Western audience there and to lots of youth people also there with weekly and monthly programs. He is working along with Radhesham Prabhu and he is an initiated disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. He has done his Bhakti Shastri degree from ISKCON Chopati and as will now soon, I think, going to lively experience this wonderful classes with Sakha, Kirtan, chanting, etc. is inspiring lots and lots of people. So really very fortunate to have His Grace Arjun Sakha Prabhu with us today and for the next 3-4 days as Prabhu already mentioned. So let's loudly welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna once. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In the interest of time, I'll get started. Of course, I think the time given was 6:30. It's 7:45. We are very much on time.
Hare Krishna.
This is fine, Bodhi. I will continue this. In our ISKCON circles, whether you are in America, So I was mentioning that in our ISKCON circles, few things are guaranteed. Whether you are in India, whether you are in America, or whether you are in UAE. Few things, trademark ISKCON. First and the foremost that you will find, I was mentioning this earlier today in one devotee's place when we were briefly talking. One thing is guaranteed. For a program, for a class, there will be about 40-50 people. For prasadam, there will be 100. Where that extra 50 comes only in Krishna knows. It is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Even Krishna is scratching his head. From where this extra 50 come? That is one. Second is, our programs always start on time. Very much on time. But nonetheless, all of us have very kindly come here. And I really thank all the leaders here, led by Bahurupa Narasimha Prabhu, Siddha Gauranga Prabhu, and other leaders and other senior devotees in the form of Rasamrit Prabhu, Parikshit Prabhu, Charurupa Prabhu, and others. Please forgive me if I have not mentioned anyone. This is the first time I am here. Of course, I have been here once, twice. Once in 2009 and once in 2015. But both the times, my brother was serving and I was just one amongst the audience. So, to all the devotees present here, to all the senior devotees of this yatra, it's very easy for me to come and speak something, but it's very, very difficult to cultivate a congregation. 1 hour class is easy. To do that day in and day out and to nurture and nourish a congregation is very difficult. To all the leaders, to all the devotees, thank you from the bottom of my heart for very kindly being here and inspiring me with your presence. If not for all of you all, probably from India I would have gone straight to America, but because all of you are also kind and enthusiastic, and Sarvapalaka Prabhu instructed and requested me, I have made a very kind halt for a few days here in Avataridesh. Before we begin, is it echoing or is it just for me? Is it okay for everyone?
Yes.
Before we begin, I would want to very humbly offer my obeisances. Please accept my humble obeisances, and those devotees who are older to me in age and bhakti, please bless me. And those who are chotus, I consider you my brothers and sisters, so you can also pray for me. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Before we begin, let us chant the Mangalacharan prayers, seek auspiciousness from our spiritual superiors like Srila Prabhupada, and then get started in our previous discussion. If you have these prayers by heart, kindly chant along. And if you do not, we can simply hear and purify our consciousness. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Ramani Hari Priye Namo Om Vishnupadaya कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद all together Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadaliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Anandalila Vigrahaya Hemavadivya Chavisundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Nityanandam Aham Naumi Sarvananda Karam Param Harinama Pradam Devam Avadhuta Shiromani Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Shri Nityananda Ram ki Shri Janmashtami Maha Utsava ki Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Hare Krishna. Very happy and very honored to be amongst all of you all in this very holy land of Avataridesh. You see, these places have so beautifully been renamed by Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Just like Srila Prabhupada, wherever he went, he would rename everything. He went to West Virginia, he made a new Vrindavan. He went to Los Angeles, he made a new Dwaraka. He went to France, he made a new Mayapur. He went to somewhere else, he made a new Talavan. And the list goes on. Wherever Prabhupada went, he removed the Krishna consciousness, the Vrindavan of his heart, and he gave it to the whole world. And likewise we find, like a true representative, a true successor, Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj also has blessed the United Arab Emirates with the Vrindavan and the Mayapur of his heart by renaming these places as Avataridesh, Shamdesh and Avataridesh. So before I begin, I want to express my obeisances a million times at the lotus feet of Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and all the god brothers of Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, which means all the disciples of Prabhupada, who are relentlessly in their old age traveling around the world and spreading the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, spreading the message of Sri Krishna consciousness. And we see this was primarily the mood of Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada once came to America, he went to America. When he went to America, I'm so used to whenever experience it, when he came to America. This time he went that side. So when Srila Prabhupada went to America, he landed in the US and one Indian reporter came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, why have you come to America? Srila Prabhupada looked at him and said, why have you come to America? So he said, better opportunities. Prabhupada said, same, me also, better opportunities. But Prabhupada said, there's a difference. You have come to the United States to take something. I have come to the United States to give you all something. There is a difference. You have come as a beggar. I have not come as a beggar. I have come to give you all. I have come to fill your hearts with Krishna consciousness. And we see, to spread this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada would travel around the world. In the 10th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, as Prabhuji earlier mentioned it, we would have continuation of our discussions. And we would try to take sections of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Devotees here, I'm pretty sure, would be very well versed with the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So we will just take some sections and see some points that we can imbibe in our life, some points of inspiration. In the 10th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in the section of Rukmini, Canto 10, chapter 52, text 20. There Srila Shukadeva Goswami very beautifully gives 3 benefits of hearing Krishna Katha. All of us are here for hearing Krishna Katha, right? And we see it's a Kali Yuga mentality. The moment you ask someone, hey, you do this, the immediate Kali Yuga response is, why? Mujhe kya milega? I will do it, but what will I get? So Shukadeva Goswami understands this mentality. So even before we can ask, in the Bhāgavatam, he gives 3 reasons why we should hear Katha. 3 reasons. Please kindly repeat. Shukadeva Goswami says, Brahman Krishna Katha Punya Madhvi Loka Malapaha Konu Tripyeta Shrunvanam Shrutagya Nitya Nutanaha. This is a very beautiful verse that we can by heart. Not just as a preaching verse, but a verse for personal reflection also. What does Shukadeva Goswami say? Shukadeva Goswami says, Brahman Krishna Katha Punya. What's the first quality of Krishna Katha? It is Punya, it is pure. And of this there is no doubt. Anyone who comes in this current of Krishna consciousness, for sure will be purified. For some it is now, for some it may be 10 years later, for some it may be this one lifetime, for some others may be another 10 lifetimes. But for sure, just like when you touch Ganga, you will become wet. Likewise, those who have come to Euphoria Mall or Euphoria Hall will for sure be purified and for sure will be benefited. The first quality of Krishna Katha is Brahman Krishna Katha Punya. It is pure. But terms and conditions apply. You see, when you buy insurance, everything will be written in big font. That terms and conditions will be so small, size of the ant. You cannot read, correct? And they do it on purpose. LIC, जीवन के साथ भी, जीवन के बाद भी. And big quotations they will put. They will take verses from Gita, Yoga Kshema Mahamyam. But the asterisk is such, you know what I am talking about. So here also, there is asterisk. Brahman Krishna Katha Punya. Katha is Punya, no doubt it is pure. But for those who come to your Katha with an open heart, for them purification happens faster. If the thought process in the mind is, hey, what can he teach me? I have seen the world more. Hey, what does he know? I have experienced the world more. I have no more Shastra. I have no more verses. What can he teach me? If studying Shastra, purpose of studying Shastra is debate, arguments, then purification takes time. But if the aim of studying Shastra is Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, for our purification and for Krishna satisfaction, purification happens faster. Give me an example from the Chaitanya Charitamrita where someone was very scholar but was humiliated by Nimai Pandit. Yes, someone said it. Devananda Pandit, yes, that's one example. What's another very famous example, starting from K? Keshav Kashmiri. Keshav Kashmiri we find was very scholarly. Verses after verses like Ganga would come from his mouth. And Nimai Pandit just crushed him into pieces. His Grace Mahatma Prabhu in one seminar was explaining. Oftentimes we pray to the Supreme Lord for humility. Bhagavan hame nambra bana do. We pray for humility. But what we fail to realize is Krishna's way of giving humility is very different. He is a very different Lord. We have to accept the fact. Whatever he does is very different. His whole attire, his whole personality is very hatke. So Mahatma Prabhu was saying, Krishna's way of giving humility is so different. He first gives humiliation, then gives humility. So the next time you go in front of Radha Madhav and say, my dear Lord, make me humble, the terms and condition is along with that humiliation is also free. Ek pe ek free. Bonus. Diwali offer. And not just Keshav Kashmiri, the same with Devananda Pandit also. Devananda Pandit, as Prabhuji explained, was another big time scholar. But Mahaprabhu didn't care. It's not the verses that makes us a devotee. It's not knowing Shastra that makes us a devotee. It's the application part. Hiranyakashipu also knew Shastra. If you see Bhāgavatam 7th canto, chapter 2, chapter 3, he is speaking Bhagavad Gita, soul body concept. We are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Look at Ravana, knew all the philosophy. All these demons were so qualified, if you keep them on the Vyasasana, they can give a class. Don't look at me. It is just an example. I was at one place and I said this, and a small child was sitting ahead and he was looking at me. Throughout the time he was looking at me. Then later at the end of the class I realized he just took this one point. Remaining class to the side. He took this one point and he was looking at me. So to all the bacha party, it is simply an example. Don't take it to heart. Devotees, sometimes you don't know which point they take to heart. Oftentimes we find that after class is done, devotees come and they say, Prabhuji, excellent class. Wonderful class. So then the speaker says, oh, which point did you like? Full class. Why do you say that? Because you don't remember any other point. Full class, Prabhuji. At the end, please don't come to me and say you like the full class. If you say that, I will understand that you don't remember anything. So we find Kali Yuga remembrance is very low. Prayana alpa ayushya kalosmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadhita. First canto of the Bhāgavatam. Our remembrance is very volatile. We don't even remember our passwords. Right? We don't even remember our passwords. To that password to the bank, which is like a secret number or whatever, that we write in our iPhone, in notes. And then we forget the password to our iPhone. Right? Happens. Forgot password. Kali Yuga. So, Shukadev Goswami knows everything. He knows the leela behind forgetting password. So, in the first canto itself, he says, Prayana alpayushra kala vasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo. We are not very intelligent. And this is ground reality. But, to be purified, the good thing is we don't have to be intelligent. Even if you are not very intelligent. In Kali, in scriptures we find what's the definition of intelligence. It's not having a PhD that defines who an intelligent person is. That's from a material standpoint. It's not having an MBA, MBPS, working for Google, Microsoft, Facebook, whatever it is. That is from a material standpoint. From a spiritual standpoint, which Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, Yagyai Sankirtana Prai Yajantihi Sumedasa. Those who do Harinam Sankirtan Kali, they are most intelligent. So what's the definition of intelligence? Put your hand up in the air and as loud as possible chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please congratulate yourself, you are very intelligent. Because Kaviraj Goswami is saying he will not lie. So first quality of Krishna Katha is Brahman Krishna Katha, Punya, it is pure. But the terms and condition, the asterisk is, if the desire is purification, Shastra acts fast. If the desire is tarkutak, argument, debates, then Shastra takes time. But it will still act. But the purification is delayed. What is the second quality? Madhvi. Please repeat, what's the second quality? Madhvi. Madhvi means sweet. Not this sweet. The time is such, Saturday evening, the moment we say sweet, our mind goes to this sweet. Krishna Katha is sweet. And it's the barometer of understanding why it's sweet is, if it was not sweet, we would not be here on a Saturday evening. We would be probably in the malls, in the theaters, Netflix, right? We would be doing that. Leaving all that, we are there on a Saturday evening to hear Katha. That itself is a proof. There is some sweetness in Katha. There is some taste. And the person about whom we always talk, that Sri Krishna, is a personality who is very, very sweet. Srila Bilamangala Thakur explains in his work, he says, Nijangana kankanakeni lolam. One time, one motherly gopi came to see Mother Yashoda. And she met Mother Yashoda. And as she left the home, she walked a couple of miles. And she realized she forgot her bangle. Kankan bhul gayi. Nijangana kankanakeni lolam. Now she has to again go back to get the bangle. Now when she comes back to get the bangle, our Krishna is standing there. Krishna is 2 years. But the work that he does is like a 40-year-old. Don't underestimate Krishna. Even at 2, even modern day children cannot compete with him. He is only 2 and he is standing with the bangle. He is examining the bangle. There is nothing to examine. He is examining the bangle. The motherly gopi comes and says, Lala, please give my bangle. Bangle de de, kankan de de. He says, nahi dunga. I will not give. Huh? So much attitude? 2 years? I won't give. She says, Krishna, please. No. The Lord whom we worship is very, kya kare? Ekdam anokhe hai. She says, Krishna, please give me. If you don't give me, I will not have a bangle. Krishna says, I will not give. So motherly gopi understands. ये ऐसे नहीं मानेगा. हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, घी सीधी उंगली से ना निकले, उंगली टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती है. Motherly gopi is very intelligent. She goes to the home of Mother Yashoda and she brings a ball of butter. इसको माखन से फंसाएंगे. ये ऐसे ऐसा फंसेगा नहीं, इसको माखन से फंसाएंगे. She brings a ball of butter. Nijangana kankanakeni lolam gopi grihitva navanita golam. She brings a navanit gola, ball of butter. And now what does she do? Amartayet panitalena netre. She comes from behind. She comes from behind. And she closes the eye of Krishna. And now Krishna's eyes are closed. And from behind the motherly gopi, taking the ball of butter, she keeps it near the nose. Eyes are closed, butter is near the nose. And Krishna does. Hey, this is familiar smell. This is my home ground. This is a familiar smell. Krishna puts the bangle down to the ground and takes butter and runs inside the house saying, hey, I am victorious. I tricked the motherly gopi, I have got butter. Now you tell me, dear devotees, is Krishna victorious or is the devotee victorious? The devotee is victorious. The devotee tricked Krishna with a ball of butter and Krishna goes inside with the ball of butter. Motherly gopi has got the bangle. Gaur Premananda, she goes home. With a ball of butter, Krishna can be conquered. It's not our dhanam, vittam. Nothing attracts Krishna. Manne dhanabhijana rupa tapashrutojas teja prabhava bala paurusha buddhi yoga nara dhanani bhavanti parasya pumsam bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajayutapaya 799 Bhagavat Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj says, Manne dhan, our wealth doesn't attract Krishna. Abhijana, Rupa, our fan following, our followers, our Roop, our beauty, the so-called beauty that we think we have. No one is as beautiful as their Facebook picture and no one is as horrible as their Aadhaar card. For those who have an Aadhaar card, you know what I'm talking about. No one is as beautiful as Facebook picture, no one is as bad as Aadhaar card. So our beauty, you know. And that is why you see in India, I remember when I was growing up, you would have the ads, the Fair and Lovely ad. And the person would come, and the moment he puts Fair and Lovely, hi handsome, and all of a sudden he becomes very fair. You see? Maybe not the kids, but you also see? Oh, yeah. Kids are advancing faster. Oh, yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So everything you see, even the social media and the ads, it's all centered around how I can be more attractive, how I can impress him, how I can impress her, and so on and so forth. But Krishna is not affected. Prahlad Maharaj says, Krishna doesn't care all these things. Only thing Prahlad Maharaj says Krishna cares is bhakti. How much bhakti we have. Srila Radhanath Maharaj says a very beautiful point. Please repeat. Krishna smells the fragrance of the heart. Can we all repeat together? Krishna smells the fragrance of our heart. This is a point that we can take home and always remember. Krishna is not behind material assets. Doesn't mean we don't give it to him. As Krishna explains in the Gita, whatever Lakshmi has, we should also do charity. But that completely doesn't attract Krishna. It's the heart. It's the fragrance. Someone can be a pauper living in the streets, but if he has bhakti, that attracts Krishna more than someone who is just giving money or just giving material assets, but inside the heart there is nothing. If the desire of giving material assets to Krishna is with this aim that, hey, my name should be announced in the Sunday feast. I will do this, but Sarvapalaka Prabhu, take my name. My name should be announced first. If my name is not announced, next time no donation. My name should be announced first. If this is the aim, probably we may get our name announced, but Krishna will say, Hare Krishna. You stay where you are. Krishna is looking for our heart. So Krishna smells the fragrance of our heart. And the third point. So what was the first? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is Punya, which means it is sweet, correct? What does Punya mean? Pure. And second point is Madhvi. Madhvi means pure. No, it means pure. He's almost thinking. Yes. So first is Punya, which means pure. Second is Madhvi, which means sweet. Krishna is actually very sweet. Krishna is actually very sweet. When we actually see the sweetness of Krishna, his walking is sweet, his talking is sweet, his running is sweet, his speaking truth is sweet, his lying is even more sweet. He is Satyam Param Dhimahi, he is absolute truth. In Vrindavan, Satyam Param Dhimahi lies. Where does he lie? Mother Yashoda comes to Krishna and says, hey Krishna, did you eat dirt? Mrud Bhakshan Lila, did you eat dirt? Krishna says, I did not. And Krishna doesn't open his mouth. Why? Because mud is there inside. As Mother Yashoda is speaking, Krishna with his tongue, he's cleaning. He's completely cleaning inside. And Maya says, hey, all your friends are saying that you ate. They lied. They are all lying. Achha. Balram is also saying, he is also lying. Mother Yashoda says, what? Vrindavan, only you speak truth, correct? Everyone else lies. Your friends are lying, Balram is lying, only you speak truth. Krishna says, Actually, he is Satyam Param Dhimahi, he is the absolute truth. But that absolute truth is lying in Vrindavan. Did you eat dirt? I did not. And once the dirt is completely clean, Krishna is convinced. All the dirt particles are gone. All the checking is done. Now Krishna stands his authority and says, Naham bhakshitavan ambe sarva mithya samshaya. Hey Maya, I did not eat dirt. Sarve mithya, ye mithya hai. They are all fabricating. I did not eat dirt. So absolute truth lies. This is Vrindavan. Welcome to Sri Vrindavan Dham. The absolute truth lies in Braj. So first quality of Krishna Katha is it is pure. Second is it is sweet. Third, Lokamalapaha. Krishna is expert in kidnapping. Not just Rukmini. Of the 8 queens that we find, in that 8 queens, about 3 or 4 were kidnapping. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you should be righteous. You should follow the Dharma. After that, he runs away from the battlefield. You see, whatever Krishna does, there is a temple for him. He runs away from battlefield, Ranchod. He stands like this, Jagannath. He stands like this, Gaurnitai. He stands like this, Vitthal. It's like Krishna does a PT exercise and there is a temple for him. Sometimes the question is, hey, Krishna is doing, you are giving temple. I can also do. Build a temple for me. Sometimes the question is, hey, Krishna steals, you are glorifying him. I steal, it's a problem. He lies, he is glorified. I lie, it's a problem. Because these questions should not arise, Shukadeva Goswami first 9 cantos speaks about the Aishwarya of Krishna. Who is Krishna? And in the 10th canto, when that concept is drilled in the heart, who is Krishna? Then he speaks about Brajaras. He speaks about sweetness. So who is Krishna? Lokamalapaha. The third quality of Krishna Katha is just like he kidnaps Rukmini and some other queens. He, with this chariot of Krishna Katha, will come into our heart, sit in our heart, do some Chetodarpanam Arjanam, and kidnap our heart. Lokamalapaha. The impurities that are there, Krishna will completely kidnap that away. This is by Shukadeva Goswami. So that the question doesn't arise कि मुझे क्या मिलेगा कथा सुन के. He puts 3 benefits of hearing Krishna Katha. What are the 3 benefits? First, when you hear, you become pure. Second, you become sweet, and the worshipable Lord is also sweet. And third, Lokamalapaha. The impurities that are there in the heart are completely destroyed. And time and again, Prabhupada would emphasize on this point of hearing and studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Prabhupada was in America in a morning walk. And one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, there is one new book that is released. One author has written a new book. Prabhupada said, Acha, what is the name? He said, Prabhupada, the name of the book is I Am Okay, You Are Okay. It's a real book. If you go Google, it's a 1970s book. I am okay, you're okay. Prabhupada heard that, put his cane down and said, go and tell the author, I am okay, you're not okay. If you come to me, I will make you okay. If you come to me with the power of Krishna consciousness, with the power of Krishna Katha, I will make you okay. But right now, I am okay, you're not okay. So Katha makes us okay. Katha makes us pure. We find Srila Prabhupada is writing these books, and not just writing, glorifying Krishna Katha, but at the same time he would also emphasize on distributing these books. Srila Prabhupada would always say, my books are time bombs. You don't know where, when, how it will explode. One time, when few disciples, they came to Prabhupada. You see, Prabhupada's pastimes are very interesting. If you go to YouTube, you will have Prabhupada memories. And that is something that we can do. Every time we sit down to eat, we can hear Prabhupada memories, Prabhupada pastimes. And so many pastimes come up, which we may or may not have heard. One time, few disciples went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, we want to go for book distribution. Prabhupada said, wonderful. But where do you want to go? They said, nightclub. Prabhupada said, where? They said, Prabhupada, nightclub. Prabhupada said, you go to nightclub, but make sure you also come back. I have given you permission for going, but make sure you also come back. Those days, preaching was very different kind of preaching. We go on book distribution maybe in the streets. Of course, in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, even street is difficult. With the heat that is there, by that time we have distributed probably one book, Gaura Premanande. My goodness, it is very intense. In Vrindavan, they normally say, you see, summers in Vrindavan are very hot. There are like 40s, 45, 46, sometimes 48. UP, Delhi winters are very extreme and summers are equally very extreme. So when Vrindavan gets hot, it is generally, the Brajavasis say, why is it hot? It's not because the climate is hot, it's not because of the weather. It's hot because the heat of separation from Radharani's heart has manifested out as the weather. Radhika is separated from Shyamasundar so much, from Madhava so much, that the heat of separation is now transformed as the weather. And when Radha and Krishna together, it's the cooling embrace of Shyamasundar, which is now reflected as the weather of Vrindavan. So when you go out and you feel hot in Abu Dhabi, let us remember that it is not the heat of Abu Dhabi. It's Radharani separated from Krishna, and the heat of separation from her heart has transformed as the weather of Abu Dhabi. Wherever we are devotees, we can remember Krishna. The place is not wrong. The people are not wrong. What needs to change is this. Because this is at the moment not very pure, We see the world according to our lens that we wear. Just like they say, when you have red glasses, you see the whole world red. You have blue glasses, you see the whole world blue. Doesn't mean the world is red and blue. The glasses need to be changed. So if we wear the glasses of Krishna consciousness, everywhere like Prahlad Maharaj, we can see Krishna. So rather than cribbing around the situation, he did that, she did that. Yeah, I didn't say that. Rather than doing that, let us try to see Krishna in that situation. And every situation, Krishna can be seen. Krishna consciousness can be seen. If not Krishna, Krishna consciousness principle can be seen in every situation. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं, बस नजरिए की है बात. We have to now change our vision. Śrīmad Ayendra Prabhu would say, Krishna consciousness is a change of heart. It's a revolution of thought. It's a revolution of consciousness. We cannot afford to be whom we were 20 years back. If we are the same person whom we were 20 years back, then it only means we have still not applied the principles of Krishna consciousness in the right spirit that Prabhupada has taught us. Because if we have, there will be, 100% there will be a transformation of the consciousness, of the outlook, of the taste. And we have seen that. The things that probably we were doing 10 years back, now the same thing if we are asked to do, मन नहीं लगता, है ना? कई ऐसी चीज है. Every devotee will have something which 10 years back you were very fond of. Now the same thing, our tongue curls. नहीं करना है. I don't want to do it. Where is the change coming from? It's coming from Krishna consciousness. Sometimes the question arises that Prabhuji, I hear classes, but I don't remember anything. हॉल के बाहर जाते हैं, सब गौर प्रेमानंद हो जाता है. प्रसाद का मेन्यू याद रहता है प्रभु जी, कथा भूल जाते हैं. कथा बोल के फिर आके बोलते हैं प्रभु जी वंडरफुल क्लास. Many times we forget, right? Just imagine 10-20 years back some katha that you heard. Do you remember? No, you don't remember. So we don't have to beat ourselves down. The example that is given is, do you remember what you ate 20 years back? Does anyone remember what they ate 20 years back? No one remembers, right? Has it nourished your body? Has it nourished your body? Yes. Do you remember? No. Likewise, we may not remember the content, but every katha that we sit, it is nourishing us little by little by little. We don't have to become panditya, remembering everything. This is not some storage place. GB, KB, MB, TB. Any other B? My goodness, technology is increasing so much. So many things that come when I'm in America and I'm interacting with the youth. I remember there was a time when WhatsApp came, maybe late 2000, something like that. WhatsApp just came and the youth were into WhatsApp. They would install and they would start texting. And my parents, they would ask how to operate. Just like parents sometimes ask, kaise chalate hai? So we would teach. And sometimes there would be something like this and we would say, there is generation gap. Favorite phrase of the youth, generation gap. You are from 1970, this is 2022, generation gap. And I remember many times in my age people would say that. And now when I speak to the youth, they're all 17, 18, teenage. And they were telling me about an app. And the app goes by the name Be Real. It's an app. I don't know whether it's there in UAE, but in America it's very popular amongst the youth. Be Real. And it somehow sends a notification every 5, 10 minutes or 24 hours, something like that. And you have to click a photo of yourself. You have to be real at that moment. And you have to click a photo. So they were telling me about this. And I said, I have not heard this. And they looked at me and said, generation gap. Believe me or not, that day I felt I'm a little old. I'm only 27. That day I felt I'm a little old. The same thing that probably 10 years back I told my parents, now it's like a boomerang, it's come back. Generation gap. So we find that this process of Krishna consciousness is primarily meant for Shuddhikaran, it's meant for purification. And every time we come in such a gathering, the only agenda, the only aim is how I can improve from the last time. We are not coming here, dear devotees, to chit chat. We are not here to talk about politics. We are not here to talk about the G20 summit, Joe Biden, Narendra Modi, or whatever. These things were anyway talking in office, right? Anyway, when you go to office, these things people talk. Why discuss the same thing when we come in a devotion gathering? This 1.5 to 2 hours that we have, it's make or break. It can be make if we make the best use out of it. These 2 hours can set the scene for next 1 week. It can recharge our batteries. And it can be a complete break if we are present in the Katha, but our mind is going here and there. And I always say this is the best seat in the house. Why? Because sitting here, I exactly know who is awake, who is sleeping, whose eyes are awake but internally sleeping. It's the best seat in the house. Because you can see everyone. Some devotees are now going behind someone. It's the best seat in the house. But advantage is on our side if we are attentive in hearing. When we are sincere and attentive. Please stop at 8:30. Can we go another 5, 7, 10 minutes? No? Prasadam? I was saying this earlier today in one program, not program, but they had invited to Prasad, and I was mentioning this. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj had come to Detroit, and in Detroit you have Fisher Mansion, which is Prabhupada's temple, and Yugal Kishore Prabhu, who was Maharaj's Brahmachari disciple, had opened another temple, Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha or Radha Gopi Vallabha. And for the temple inauguration, different devotees from America had come there. And Srila Radhanath Maharaj was naturally invited. And he gave the festival class. He gave the temple inauguration class. Schedule was such, 10 to 11 was class, morning. 11 to 12, Abhishek. 12 o'clock, Prasadam. This was the schedule. 10 o'clock, Maharaj started. 10:45, 10:50. At 10:50, they put a chit in front of Maharaj. 10 minutes remaining. Maharaj picked up the chit and said, "Oh, it says 10 minutes remaining." Maharaj kept the chit. Spoke another 45 minutes. And then again picked up the chit and said, "It still says 10 minutes remaining." He said, "It still says 10 minutes remaining." And he ended up speaking for 2 hours, 10 to 12. And then he picked up and said, "It still says 10 minutes, but I will stop." You have seen Maharaj Chopati classes? After 2.5 hours, he will say, "Should I continue?" And the crowd says, "Hari!" So that was an indication for me also. Should I continue? Good way of tricking the audience. And you say 2.5, 3, and in the old devotion lecture classes when Maharaj would speak, he would go for like 3-4 hours. The offering that he gives for Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, that's 5.5 hours of glorification. If you have not heard that, it's there on YouTube. It's an audio recording, 5.5 hours glorifying Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. We can't even criticize devotees for 5.5 hours. I challenge. 5.5 hours, we cannot non-stop criticize a devotee. After one point, we ourselves will think, "Bas karo, bahut ho gaya." We can criticize 5.5 hours. For us, glorification is little difficult. Glorifying ourselves is very easy. We can write Bhagavad Gita in our glorification. 700 verses. Glorifying others, very difficult. Very difficult. For devotees, this is the biggest challenge, glorifying other devotees. We may do lip service, as Guru Govinda Maharaj would say. We would do lip service. But it may not be hearty. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when in the Gaudiya Math, there would be difference of opinion. When two devotees would fight, they would go to Bhakti Saraswati Thakur and say, "Hey, he did like that. Hey, he did like that. Hey, she did like that." And they would fight. And now Saraswati Thakur has to resolve. How would Bhakti Saraswati Thakur do it? This is something we can do, dear devotees, in our devotion service. Next time you have a conflict with another devotee, you can do this, and Bhakti Saraswati Thakur would do in the Gaudiya Math. Srila Saraswati Thakur would call both the devotees who are having Chattis Kakra. In Hindi there is Chattis Kakra. When two devotees are having conflict, ego clash, Saraswati Thakur would call them and he would say, give me 5 points of glorification about this devotee. And you give me 5 points of glorification about this devotee. And now 1, 2, 3. Quickly we can give. 4th we are thinking, this devotee has only 3 good qualities. I can't remember more. Chalo, 4th also I can do. Probably 5th is very difficult, not possible. He doesn't have 5 good qualities, only 3. But criticism, it is unending. So next time we have a conflict, difference of opinion, an ego clash with devotees, in our hearts we can remember, there may be problems, there may be challenges, but wait a minute, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good qualities. Doesn't mean you stop at 5. You can go more. And the more you keep doing this, naturally there comes a point when mind starts thinking only good qualities, because now you're training your mind. Start with 1, go to 3, go to 5, go to 7. Then comes a point where you start looking for good qualities. You will start looking for good qualities. How will it otherwise come? We have to train our mind. Like Saraswati Thakur would say, when we get up in the morning, hit our head with a slipper. Because we are, as Indra Prabhu would say, we are Kali Yuga rejects. We are Kali Yuga rejects. So we have to train ourselves. We have to do some tapasya. Devotees are our only hope. Our office colleagues may come and go. These devotees sitting here are our real family. We are there for each other. And now if we criticize each other, who will help us? Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would explain, when we criticize devotees, we are jamming the doors of spiritual world on our face. When the door is jammed, you can't do anything. Devotees have the key for your entrance to the spiritual world. Every Mataji sitting here, the Mataji sitting next to you, please always remember that the Mataji sitting next to me or all the Matajis here, they have the key to my entrance to Golok Vrindavan. And to all the Prabhujis sitting here, the Prabhuji sitting next to you, you have the entrance or you have the key for my entrance to the spiritual world. And now if you criticize those devotees, Hare Krishna, where will we go? So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would say, when you criticize devotees, you are jamming the doors of spiritual world of your face. Kahare na ninda kare Krishna Krishna bole, Ajaya Chaitanya say Jini Veka bole. The time that we spend in criticizing, that time if it is utilized for chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will make rapid advancement. And this is why primarily Prabhupada is spreading the teaching of Krishna consciousness. Rather than fault finding, let us be like honey bee, looking only for honey, looking for the good qualities. Every devotee has good qualities. Every single devotee has good qualities. The problem is we have not trained our mind enough to see that. But once we start doing that, and it doesn't mean that we have to wait for a conflict to see good qualities. That's another extreme. We don't have to wait for a conflict to see good qualities. Even right now, we can just randomly pick a devotee and think, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, good qualities. And we can increase the number. We can do that for different devotees. And it's an exercise that we can do. Sitting at one place, even if no one is there, you think about every devotee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That devotee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every congregation that you go, you can learn good qualities and start imbibing in your life. So naturally what happens is in a duration of 6 months to 1 year to 1.5 to 2 years, the tendency of criticizing and fault finding is completely shadowed and replaced with the tendency of seeing good numbers. Please remember, we are there for each other. We have rejected the outside world, right? We have rejected the outside world. We have kind of renounced the outside world, and that's why we are here. Now inside these circles if we fight, inside these circles if we have an ego clash, kahan jayenge? Kaun bachayega? Will Sri Guru be happy? No. If Sri Guru sees his 2 disciples are having ego clash and fighting, will he be happy? No. He's like the father and he's having 2 children, and if they're fighting, how can the father be happy? So anytime we have a conflict, let us try to remember the good qualities and other qualities. Even if we are Durvasa Muni, an incarnation of Lord Shiva, if we criticize a person like Ambarish Maharaj, no one can protect us. Not even Krishna. Not even Krishna. Even if we are Shaubari Muni living in Vrindavan, underneath Yamuna doing bhajan, if we criticize a Vaishnava like Garuda, Hare Krishna, koi nahi bacha payega. Vaishnava Aparadh is a very deadly poison. Very, very deadly poison. Srila Gauragovinda Maharaj would explain to the level, to the extent the devotee is advanced. If you start criticizing them, for example, if you criticize someone who is very advanced, if you criticize them, you practically lose everything. Jitna bhi papad bele hai, everything is gone. If you criticize a Madhyam, something is gone. And if you criticize Kanishta, little is gone. But doesn't mean only little is gone, so I will criticize more Kanishtas. Not like that. Our mode is we don't see bad in anyone. Even if we see, let us not vocalize it. Because in Kali, in the mind, whatever we think, Krishna saves us. He doesn't take that as an offense. But when we vocalize it, that is considered an offense. In the previous yugas, whatever you think in the mind, that was also offense. Now you imagine, if Krishna starts taking the offenses of our mind, everyone is smiling. In our mind, what is going on only we know. How to make more money. Na baap bada na bhaiya, sabse bada bhaiya. Srila Gauragovinda Maharaj would explain, honey, honey, brighter than sunshine, sweeter than honey. Money is very tasty for most people. And our mind is always running around like a businessman. Kaise aur paisa banaye, kaise aur paisa banaye, kaise aur paisa banaye. So if Krishna starts taking mental offenses and what we are thinking in the mind, it's next to impossible to get Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understands. Kaliyug ke jeevan. Kaliyug ke jeevan. If Dwapar Yuga standards are applied for us, we may probably never get Krishna. So he comes down and understands they are Kali Yuga people. Having a 9 to 5 job. Going out in 40 degrees Celsius in heat. Some have work from home, some don't have work from home. After that you come back home at 5 or 6 in the evening. Then you have to take your son or daughter to karate class, taekwondo class. You take? See, it happens. India, America, UAE, हर जगह चलता है. अब इतना सब करने के बाद, now chanting starts. First round. I was at one place. This was America, and I was in the host house. So he started chanting at 10 o'clock at night. So I said, Prabhuji, extra round? He said, no, first round. So looking at the confidence, I was bewildered. I felt as if I am doing something wrong. He said, first round. So I said, oh. And then he said, Prabhuji, it is given in Shastra that chanting should be done at night. I said, really? Which Shastra? You tell me also, I will also start chanting at 11 o'clock at night. Give me this rahasya. He said, Prabhuji, you are giving classes, you don't know Shastra? I said, which Shastra? Which verse is this? He said, Ante Narayana Smriti. At the end, you should remember Krishna. I said, Arey Baba, that is end of human life. Not end of day. With full confidence, he said, Ante Narayana Smriti. That day I realized, devotees are glorious. Samasta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. How they will use Shastra for their. Please don't take the source as inspiration. Brahma Murta chanting is ideal. That Prabhupada stated. Unless until there is health issue or whatever. Occasionally it is okay, but not that we make it a habit to start at 10 and 11 at night. So having said this, it's nearing 8:45. We actually started late. We started only at 7:45. But nonetheless, because we are going to continue, this was just an introduction to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. the three benefits of hearing Krishna Katha, some pastimes of Prabhupada here and there, and most importantly, we learned some new phrases in the form of Krishna smells the fragrance of the heart. Can we all repeat? Krishna smells the fragrance of the heart. And second, as Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, when we criticize devotees, we are jamming the doors of spiritual world on our face. Having said this, I very humbly stop here, only to continue tomorrow morning, and then on Monday evening and Tuesday evening on the same session. Tomorrow afternoon will be in Damodardesh, and in the evening I think it's a camp class. It's in a different place. So thank you all for very kindly coming on a Saturday evening and inspiring me with your presence. We will again meet in about 12 hours time. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful session. Devotees, anybody has any questions? Just one or two questions. Anybody?
आपने जो तीन कथा बोला था, कथा समझ की तीन चीजें लास्ट में
तो ये भागवत के 10वें स्कंद में 52वें अध्याय का 20वां श्लोक है। जहाँ शुक्रदेव गोस्वामी तीन गुण बताते हैं हरि कथा का। पहला बोलते हैं ब्राह्मण कृष्ण कथा पुण्य यानी पवित्र है, दूसरा माधुरी यानी स्वीट है, रसिक एंड टेस्टी, एंड थर्ड इज लोक मलापहार। हृदय में जितने भी मल है, भगवान चोर है ना, माखन चोर है, तो जिस प्रकार माखन चुराते हैं उस प्रकार हृदय के जो मल है करोड़ों जन्मों के मल है, एक जन्म के नहीं, करोड़ों जन्म के हैं। अगर यदि करोड़ों जन्म के मल जो है इसे हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत करें तो मानो एक माउंटेन ही बन जाएगा, एक पर्वत बन जाएगा। तो भगवान उस पर्वत रूपी मल को चुरा लेते हैं, भस्म कर देते हैं। कैसे? कथा के माध्यम से। तो ये 10, 52, 20 डायरेक्शन।
Okay, thank you very much. We will continue the session tomorrow. Please come by maximum by 8:30 because our program will start at 8 o'clock RTs, but the Katha will start at 8:45 sharp. So please be on time. So Prabhuji will be continuing from where he stopped today. So let us all chant 3 times Hare Krishna lovingly and loudly for Prabhuji's spiritual advancement, for giving this wonderful session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.